Great day, beautiful people. What's good? How are you guys doing on this wonderful hump day? It's Thursday, right, Dave?
Wednesday.
It's Wednesday, hump day. We're checking with you guys. Say hello. Say hi. See how you guys are doing. I do a lot of my driving at night. T and I are currently in Salt Lake City. We got some beautiful landscape. I'm gonna see if I can give you guys a quick glimpse really quick before I get into this video. Let me turn the camera around. Yeah, so we got some beautiful mountains. It's still snowing up this way. And last night and early this morning on my drive, I hit Wyoming. Gabby, you here? Well, we only here for a short time, not a long time. We leaving out right after they finish loading our truck. So we'll be heading to the East Coast up to Ohio. But this morning I was driving through Wyoming, and I don't know if any of you guys have driven through Wyoming. I had 40-mile-per-hour wind gusts on our truck, and it was crazy. There was so many trucks flipped over. But luckily for us, we did have some weight on our truck, and that helped as well. I know my other team, shouts out to Jamar and Carmen, they were just talking about how crazy the wind was in Iowa a couple weeks ago. But I'm telling you, this weather in Cheyenne, in Wyoming, coming into Salt Lake, especially that wind, is no joke. And it's still snowing up here. It's, what, we in April now, and they still getting a lot of snow up this way. So nonetheless, I want to definitely check in with you guys. The topic of conversation today is the reason why many of you will not excel or succeed in the experiential marketing industry. And this includes agencies as well. I wanted to talk about this because oftentimes, you know, we hear about the level of success, what it takes to succeed at anything that we aspire to do. And especially within the event marketing industry, right? And for EXPs, I don't know what happened. For EXPs in this industry, looking to get back into the industry, there are a lot of things, a lot of characteristics that one must have in order to successfully maneuver in this industry, move up in this industry, excel in this industry, and use this industry as a bridge, as a gap, as a opportunity to either move into higher positions within the industry, or just completely learn the skills you need to build your own business and build your own brand. I want to start out by first saying this, right? Success in anything that you do requires sacrifice, requires consistency. The one thing you can't do is compare your journey or what you're supposed to be aspiring to do or your goals with anybody else. The minute you start looking at someone else's success and almost trying to emulate what they're doing, it could be a problem, because for one, you don't understand the sacrifice and the things that that individual or that group of people, whether it's a team like T&I or just an individual starting a business, you don't know the sacrifice, the hard work, the things that go on the back end. Yes, we like to glamorize and we like to publicize all the pretty things, right? The success, the things that you see after the fact that this person or individuals have made it. But we don't see what goes on behind the scenes. You guys don't see a lot of the things that go on behind the scenes. Thank you, Miles, for tapping in. Miles, as an agency owner and former EXP, I'm pretty sure he can attest to this. Being an agency owner is tough, and oftentimes a lot of EXPs have an entitlement mentality, right? Thinking that an agency could come in and demand A, B, C, and D from a client, but you don't see on the back end what that agency owner or what that account manager is doing to secure that contract or that opportunity with that brand or with that client. So before we start trying to emulate someone else's success or mimic what someone else is doing, ask yourself, if you saw the back end, right? If you saw what that person was really doing on a day-to-day basis to get to where they are right now, are you willing and able to put the same amount of work in, if not more, to reap the same results. And oftentimes I found a lot of us, we're not willing to do that. For one, a lot of individuals will not succeed in the experiential marketing industry. And let me just take this a step further. This goes outside of event marketing industry, just in any business or anything you're trying to do. A lot of people don't want to work anymore. A lot of us, I'm not going to speak for myself because this does not apply to me, but a lot of individuals think that work should be given to them, that there is not a process, there is not things that you have to do in order to obtain the opportunities that you want. Anything that you want requires work. Working in the event marketing industry, even at a brand ambassador level, requires work. You can't just show up at an event site, think that you're going to get paid, to not engage with consumers, to not be on time, to not wear the proper attire, and to not fulfill your roles and responsibilities. It requires work. I didn't just end up here in a truck as a owner-operator. I went into working in the event marketing industry, starting at the entry level as a brand ambassador, understanding the industry, right? Sitting back, working some of the jobs that a lot of individuals wouldn't take because I wanted to become a student of the industry. Education before compensation, right? Educating yourself on the industry, how to move up in the industry the right way, the things to do to put you in position to become a team lead, to become a tour manager, to become an in-market manager, a regional manager. And I'm not gonna lie to you, there were times I would work 4 events a day in my nights at a promo for wine and spirits, doing alcohol events, get home at 3-4 o'clock in the morning, have recaps to do, and wake up and do it all over again on the weekend. Was it a sacrifice? Yes. Did it pay off? Yes. Was it always easy at times? No, it wasn't. But I knew that if I put the work in, if I came in and I understood the industry as a whole and what it took, that doors would open and I would have opportunities afforded to me. Now, with that, it took consistency. A lot of individuals are not consistent. A lot of individuals want to reap the benefits, but they don't want to consistently put the work in to get to where you need to be. It takes consistency to apply for jobs as a brand ambassador, even as a tour manager, after being told no. Do you know how many times I applied for tours and was told no? Do you know how many times I applied for product specialist opportunities and was told my hair was too ethnic, or I didn't meet the brand's criteria of what they wanted for that actual event? Do you know how many times I was turned away for a tour opportunity only to be working on that same tour as a brand ambassador, helping and training the actual tour manager who was less qualified than I was? But you know what? I didn't let that stop me. I was still consistent and persistent in my pursuits because I knew what I brought to the table as far as my value and my work ethic, and I was willing to put the work in to get there. It takes consistency. It takes being told no 4, 5, 6, 7, 10, 20 times before you get that one yes. It takes being up all night, reaching out to account managers, setting up profiles in the different staffing agencies portals, and connecting with individuals on LinkedIn to letting them know, hey, these are the skills that I obtained. These are the things that I'm qualified for. This is how I could be an asset to any program or event, whether at a brand ambassador level or a tour manager level. It takes consistency, and a lot of you guys are not even willing to be consistent to do the small things. A lot of you are not even willing to show up on time for an event. A lot of you are not even willing to wear the proper event attire. A lot of you are not even willing to do your event recaps on time. On time, to get paid on time. But hey, guess what? The minute you're not paid, that Friday when that direct deposit is supposed to hit, you blowing up the account manager, you blowing up the agency owner, and you're asking for your money. But did you do what you were supposed to do when you were on site? Did you engage with consumers? Did you properly convey the brand information? Did you study the information prior to even arriving on site so that you could ensure that you were prepared when those tough questions came? Or were you just giving out wrong information because you just didn't want to study? Did you take the time to communicate and let the tour manager know that, hey, you know, I'm running behind, I'm gonna be a few minutes late? Or did you just show up and think that it was okay and that you would just assume any role that you wanted because you have an entitlement mentality and you think that you have arrived? Boo-boo, I have seen it so many times. I have stepped into various roles as a tour manager, stepped in, sent brand ambassadors home, had to work as a brand ambassador and a tour manager, worked with clients, I've worked with agencies. I've seen what is required to succeed at any position except as an agency owner. And let me tell you this, a lot of you want the success, you want the glitz and glam, you want to be on Instagram, you want to be on social media, posting pictures at your event site, but how many of you are actually putting the work in? How many of you are consistently showing up on time and fulfilling your roles and responsibilities? So it requires a level of commitment, a level of consistency, a level of hard work, and last but not least, a level of humbleness. You haven't arrived just because you have received your first opportunity as a team lead, even as a tour manager. Never get to a position where you are not a student. I'm always a student. That's why I love this group and I love interacting and engaging with you guys, because I'm still learning every day. Yes, I have used my CDLs and took the time to obtain my CDLs to obtain tour opportunities within the experiential marketing industry. But look, even with the pandemic happening, I've been able to use my CDL and become an owner-operator, and T and I bought our first truck, and now we're transitioning into this. But that doesn't mean I've left the experiential marketing industry. But I say all that to say, you got to understand that as you continue to move up and hit different levels and meet your goals, whether that be to become a tour manager, to become an in-market manager, never get so big that you're not humble and you're not a student and you can't learn from the brand ambassadors or the individuals that are still executing events on a day-to-day industry. As a tour manager, I go on site, I'm always asking for constructive criticism. I'm always asking for ways in which I could become a better manager. I'm always looking for ways to improve, even when I'm working with account managers and brands and working on tour with clients. What do you need me to do? How can we make this event better? Brand ambassadors, how can I assist you guys to make sure you're getting adequate breaks? What is it going to take for you guys to stay fresh, to stay on it, and to make sure that you're conveying the right information and that you're giving consumers a great experience? What can I do to help? Okay, if that's a general consensus, let's see how we can make this work. Don't ever not be a student in this industry, because there's always something you can learn. There's always something you can learn. All right? So make sure that you are connecting with the right people. I say this all the time. Your level of...
Your signature.
We got UPS.
Right on the lower right-hand side there.
All right.
Your circle and the people that you surround yourself with will determine your level of success. So how much work are you willing to put in?
Today is the
7.
7. I'm
I
sorry.
had to think about it myself.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
So that one's yours.
And then I imagine you'll need to sign that one for your destination.
All right. Cool. All right.
I'll move the truck. If you want to go forward, I'll shut you and seal you.
All right. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
We got us out of here quickly, and we're going to be heading back out to the East Coast. But back to what I was saying. You got to always be thinking 2 steps ahead. You got to always have a plan B in place. A lot of EXPs have taken this time during this pandemic to create multiple streams of income. Shouts out to those EXPs who have done that. Shouts out to you guys.
Can I have you back up as far as you possibly can? The chalk's under there pretty good. So I just need a little nudge into the dock, and then I'll pull the chalk out.
All right. He took the lock. He has a lock on me right now, I think. Oh, you got it.
Oh, yeah, you're right. Sorry.
Yeah.
Shouts out to the EXPs who realize the importance of creating the multiple streams. I cannot stress that enough. Plan B, C, D, and E. A lot of EXPs have jumped into logistics. Shouts out to Carmen Brown and Jamar. A lot of EXPs have found their passion and started their own businesses. A lot of EXPs have taken this time to become certified and obtain their CDLA license or obtain other certifications. That pressure build up. Look at that gas. There we go. To obtain certifications to put themselves, in a better position. And my agencies, I gotta hit on you guys real quick. Diversity is important. You guys can use the excuse all day, and this does not pertain to every agency. Let me just go ahead and clarify that. Not every agency does this. Not every agency thinks that way. But we understand as EXPs, and we get it, that brands and clients have a certain demographic that they like to market to, right? And they have a certain, with that comes a certain EXP or a certain look or a certain individual in which they feel is best to represent their brand. And I get it. And oftentimes as agency owners, you get pushback for trying to hire a more diverse team in the field with regards to, executing events. But how about hiring more minorities as account managers? How about hiring more minorities as staffing coordinators? You'll be surprised at the amount of EXPs who are qualified, who have the skills and the qualifications to be able to transition from working in the field to account managers and staffing coordinators. And I think it's time that more EXPs are put in those positions within the office, because for one, it provides the opportunity to have someone who has worked in the field, who understands what it takes on a day-to-day basis to execute an event and to leverage that experience. So while I understand that the industry has generally been one in which you see more of a Caucasian presence, both on the brand side and on the experiential staffing side, it's time for more diversity to be implemented within these agencies. There are many minorities, whether you are African American, whether you are Hispanic, whether you are Asian, whether you are Indian. There are so many EXPs who fit that criteria, who would excel at those roles in an agency if afforded the opportunity. So we got to start seeing more diversity represented in the industry from a staffing, from an experiential standpoint. Shouts out to the agencies who are making strides. Miles and Kanika Brown of Incursion Marketing. Shouts out to Steve, co-founder of Newbridge Marketing, who's put together a diversity team to start adding and implementing more practices and more things where there can be diversity in the workforce. Because at the end of the day, we all have different skill sets, we all have different backgrounds and things that can be used and leveraged to assist with any type of program. So the industry is changing, society is changing, and it's important that the industry starts to follow suit as well and add more diversity within the industry, add more diversity in management positions, add more diversity on the client side. Clients, African Americans, minorities buy cars too. They buy a lot of the brands out here that we as EXPs represent on a day-to-day basis. So we got to start seeing more brands tap into the importance of diversity and hiring diversity and including that within a day-to-day basis, whether that be at a management position, a staffing position. We got to have more diversity. So I'm going to close with that, guys. I wanted to talk about that. That was on my heart as I was driving last night. And it's up to you. The success, the things that you aspire to do within the experiential marketing industry, how you aspire to excel in the industry. If you just want to stay at a brand ambassador level, cool. But be the best brand ambassador you could be. If you aspire to move up to a tour manager position, or team lead positions, now is the time to get your feet wet, to get behind somebody, to really understand what you need to do in order to do that. Me, I learned, I worked behind some of the best tour managers. I watched the way they moved. I watched the way they handled staff. I watched how they excel in leadership positions. I watched how they were able to motivate their team in spite of canceled events, in spite of rude consumers, in spite of rude clients. And I took the good and the bad and I implemented it. So when I got my opportunity to serve as a tour manager, I not only excelled, but I not only excelled, but I retained clients, and I was able to obtain positions where I was getting calls back, where I didn't have to go out and look for opportunities. And that's where you want to get. You want to get to the point where brands are requesting you and agencies have no choice but to go ahead and bring you back for another program or the same program that may be executing the following year or in the coming months. A lot of times they do beta test programs. But shouts out to all the EXPs who put the work in, who understand that it takes a level of work consistency in order to be success in this industry. Shouts out to the EXPs who, in spite of the pandemic, pushed through and was able to make last year one of their best years. We still have the rest of this year to go. Things are opening back up. So I'm going to highly encourage you guys to make sure that you are using your skills, developing your skills, making them assets, and moving into positions in which you can excel. It takes hard work, it takes consistency, but you guys can do it. All right? I'll holler at you guys later. You guys be safe out there, and enjoy the rest of your week.